What is the long-term impact of posting about 10-year-olds? I'm Coach Vinny Maltz, and I was the first mindset performance coach ever hired in the NHL. So something that recently I had seen was this Brick Invitational tournament, right? It's basically 10-year-olds playing in this big, huge tournament, right? That's out there. And it's basically the best players come together from different regions and they go play in this, event. What's concerning to me is this. What I keep noticing is this continuation of how players are getting younger and younger, and we're exposing and utilizing social media as a means to show, look what these top players are doing. Top players. Look what these top players are doing. Isn't this amazing? And I get it. I get it. One example that I've seen is that, a lot of people can, appreciate is that you see advisors now are going younger and younger, right? Before it used to be an advisor would pick up a player at 14, 15, 16. Now advisors are looking at players when they're 10, 11, 12. You just keep getting younger and younger. And one of the running jokes with a lot of people in the industry is at the higher levels is, oh, pretty soon we're going to be right when the mother has the child. Boom, we're going to be right there. Here's my card. Stuff like that, right? We kind of laugh about it. But here's the thing that I noticed, and this is what inspires my thought process, right? Because I was just as much guilty of this back in the day in my younger years. And, this is just something that as I get older, I have my own kids now, and I'm just more thoughtful about this process of what's the long-term effects, right? So watching 10-year-olds now make these amazing moves, right? And you're seeing it, that it's getting posted up, and watch this amazing move that this kid does. The reality is the kids that are doing those amazing moves, they're likely, statistically speaking, going to keep doing those amazing moves as they get older. So we're basically showcasing the best players who are probably going to be the best players later on down the line. But what's the impact it's having on the other players? What's the impact that it's having on the coaching system? What's the impact that it's having on parents and what they believe they need to do now to keep up with that best player? And it just makes me think about that, right? And from a solution standpoint, right now, the only thing I see is educating and being able to come on here and just think about this. Why? Why as an industry do we need to point out the best moves and all that stuff? And why don't we as an industry point out the players that are working hard, the players that are blocking shots, the players that are defending well? Why isn't that a part of the social media streaming? Why aren't we exposing and sharing that just as much as we share the amazing moves that we know very few players will actually ever be able to do that in a game situation? Yet we teach everybody else according to those players. Look, model your behavior over that amazing move. But then what are the consequences? What are the long-term consequences from that? And this was something that I learned, thinking about from this perspective in this book, Filters Against Folly. Highly recommend reading. A mentor of mine, Nick Peterson, turned me on to it. And it really opened my mind to, it talks about these three filters, right? So it talks about the Numerate, Literate, and Ecolate Filter, right? So the Numerate, Instat, all these different things, data, right? So that's more, the Numerate Filter is all about, all right, we can go through and provide data points, right, on how something happens. Awesome. Literate, we can write about it, explain it. Here's how you do a certain move. Here's what you do, right? We put it out. But you know what we're really poor at as a species and as just human beings in high performance? The Ecolate Filter of, and then what happens? And then what happens? So if we expose our child to something when they're 8 or 9, and then when they get older, right, they have to now deal with the consequences of, well, when I was 8 or 9, I saw this thing, and now I believe that's what needs to happen. But as I get older, I don't know how to relate to that thing anymore. All right, so one example that my mentor would always use is talking about a mother, right, that maybe when her child was 6, 7, 8 years old, mom was going on a crash diet and really working hard and doing all these things to really maintain her diet, but it was unhealthy habits, right, that she would do. How did this impact her daughter, who then had eating disorder when she was older? How did it impact her mindset, right, and being exposed to something of that behavior when she was younger? Ecolate. And then what happens when you watch this behavior? And so this is the thing that worries me and concerns me about in our industry of when we're showcasing the best players from a young age, and we're showing the rest of the players, look at this amazing move. That's the game. That's what you should be doing, is you should be chasing after that amazing move, because that's what really it's all about. Because look, you get rewarded. Socially, you get rewarded. Everybody's clapping for you. Everybody's going to talk about how amazing you are. So why wouldn't everybody else do the same thing? And so that's the challenge that I have, is just for all of us to take a moment and really think about, what are we using this medium for? What's the long-term impact of showcasing the best of the best from a time they're young? What impact does that have on everybody else when all we're doing is showcasing one part of the process, but we're missing so many other parts along the way? And what's that long-term impact look like? And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the future that all these 10-year-olds right now are believing and getting exposed to, oh, see, if I make those awesome moves, then that's how I'm going to get recognized and rewarded later on. When the reality is, anyone at the higher levels knows this. We have these discussions about, you know what's the biggest issue we have with players today? They don't know how to think the game collectively. They're so focused on their own individual success. Where do you think that behavior comes from? When all we do is use this medium to do what? Expose amazing moves. Look at this individual move. Instead of talking about the reality of the game, life, everything is a lot more holistic. There's so many other parts to this process. But yet, we don't learn, do we? We don't learn. And that's the concerning part to me, is governing bodies, influencers, coaches, we just don't learn, do we? We continue to utilize the best players and talk about, look, here, I'm attached to this best player, or look how amazing this best player is. Okay, cool. Coaches, influencers, awesome. You're teaching about what the best of the best do. Congratulations. Guess what? The best of the best are going to be the best of the best no matter what. No matter what. That's just how they're built. That's how their DNA is. But why are we teaching only based on what they do? Why are we teaching only based on, wow, look at that amazing move? And I get it. I get it's cool looking. I get it's exciting and it's fun. But why are we not using this medium to do more? More than just pointing out things that are amazing in one context. What about all the other amazing things? Because again, what are we leaving on the table? Then what's going to happen to the game, to people, to families, to coaches, and on and on? What is going to happen if this is what we keep influencing out into the ecosystem at large in the game? Just think about it. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it.